everyone. How are we doing today? Is everyone surviving the heat wave? Because it's hot. It's really very hot. I'm very sweaty. So hot. Anyway, so I'm painting these three ladies on this page. I think I told you guys that the whole kind of point of this sketchbook for me was to kind of test out the way I wanted to paint things. I don't know. It's just kind of an experiment. I mean, as a sketchbook is, it's just kind of an experiment for larger paintings and for ideas. And so with this, I used the same model as reference for all three of these young ladies here, but I made sure that they looked a little bit different. I wanted them to look related, but not the same. I'm going with, in my head, the story of maybe some muses here. I think these ladies are muses, but like modern day muses. I know that there's lore in Greek mythology about specifically what and who muses were. I believe they're like daughters of Zeus, and there's a certain number of them, 3 or 9. I don't know. It's one of those. I know it's more than 3. I think it's 9. I think it's 9 daughters, 9 muses of Zeus, and I cannot pronounce their mother's name. I don't know. She's the goddess of memory. Anyway, so there are 9 muses, and they have specific things that they do, right? I don't remember all of them. I know that one of them is like tragedy, and one of them inspires like epic poems and romance. I know that they all have like specific things that they are called upon to do. But I kind of always wondered, like in the modern age, as things evolved, there's not a lot of epic poem writing happening. I'm sure there are people writing epic poems. It's just not regular media that's consumed anymore, right? So now we have movies and television shows, and there's a significant amount of writing that goes into movies and television shows. But also, I think that muses were specific to like writing and knowledge. I know that there's a lot of additional lore, there are ideas that like artists are calling on their muses or looking for muses. I think a lot of artists have called specific people their muses. So I've just always kind of wondered if muses were real. And, they have existed and come through all this time through the ages, right? What would they be doing now? Would they evolve to fit the times, or would they just kind of die off? My thought is that the green, this first one here, maybe she was originally tragedy, right? Maybe she originally helped writers and, playwrights and things like that. And maybe she helped inspire their tragic drama, right? And maybe now, as time has gone on, she's gotten very into horror. She's really into horror. It started early. Maybe she, helped inspire Frankenstein, right? Maybe she helped inspire the writing of Dracula. I like to think that maybe she had a little bit of a hand in Creature from the Black Lagoon, right? I like to think that is her crown jewel of accomplishments. Do muses take credit for the accomplishments of the people they inspired? I would say yes. If they're any kind of living being, and also like some sort of Greek god, ego is definitely a thing. So they have to take credit for it, right? It doesn't make sense for them not to take credit. So I've decided she's taking credit. Okay, so this green lady here, I need to start naming people. I know that they have names, but maybe they've chosen modern names. Okay, so I Googled it. And the main character, the damsel in distress, I couldn't remember her name. The actress went by Kay. So the leading lady in Creature from the Black Lagoon is named Kay. So I think what I'm going to do, I think that this muse goes by Kay. And just to bring that little bit of ego into it, right? It's like maybe she got tired of not getting any credit. So she inspired the writer to make the main female character be named Kay, just like her. And maybe her sisters were like a little bit, that's a little bit lame. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to get mine. So she put her name in it. That makes sense to me. I like a little bit of ego. A little bit of ego with my muses. They should take credit. They work hard. Anyway, so I think that she's very into horror, and she's inspiring movies and comic books and books. Maybe they all do. Maybe that's what they do now. They just, they figured out how to get involved with new media, right? I like that. Okay, the second sister, I'm not sure what to call her. We're going to have to think on it. I like to think that she got really into action movies, right? And particularly corny ones. I like the idea that she's kind of a tough girl who likes action movies, but she's goofy as all heck, right? She's goofy as heck. I kind of like the idea that her personality is a little bit like Michelle Rodriguez from the Fast and the Furious, right? Like she's got like that tough girl persona thing going on. You know what? Maybe she takes credit for the first 3 Fast and the Furious movies. Maybe like after that, she was all done and she went on to other projects and she's like, I can't take credit for any of that. But the first 3 were all my idea, right? Or my inspirational push, right? So she takes credit for the Fast and the Furious movies, the first 3 anyway. What's some other movies that she could be responsible for? You know what? One of my favorite movies of all time is The Fifth Element. I really enjoy it. It's one of those like super nostalgic movies. That one in The Matrix are probably, when I was a kid, my 2 favorite movies, right? I've decided, you know what? This muse is responsible for The Fifth Element. She's responsible for The Matrix. Maybe she's got like a little bit of foresight, which is why she was like 1999 is like peak human existence. Maybe she knew. She was here, she knew. Okay. What is her name? How do you guys feel about... What do you guys think about Sloane? I like Sloane. I think it means like warrior or something like that. I was looking at baby names a few years back, and that was one of the ones I wrote down. That's why I remember that. I think her name is Sloane. That would be great. Okay, so Sloane is responsible for being the muse for action content, right? What did she used to do? Maybe she was the epic poem one. I don't know which one that is. I don't know which one's which. It's too much information. I could Google it, but I've Googled enough today. So her name is Sloane. She's responsible for action movies. And her personal favorite is probably The Matrix because of how well it's held up over time. That's a little bit of that foresight, though. She's a muse. She can have a little bit of foresight, right? Just like a touch, like a hair of foresight. So we're going to go with, we've got Kay and Sloane. And then this third one, she looks very romantic to me. I feel like maybe she's a little bit comedy, a little bit romance. I don't know. Maybe she's really into drama. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure of the vibe I get from her. Like, maybe she does a little bit of everything. Maybe she got tired of being put in a box. She's like, you can't keep me in a box. Maybe she's really into sports. I don't know. I don't know enough about sports to make that a thing. I like hockey. I don't know. So, romance, maybe a little comedy, but like quick-witted comedy. She looks like she might be a little quick-witted, right? She's got a little bit of like a twinkle in her eye. So what movies could she be responsible for? You know what? I really like the name Isla. I think maybe she was responsible. Maybe she helped create Legally Blonde. Who hates Legally Blonde? Who really dislikes that movie? For real. It is so cute and so heartwarming. I think maybe she's responsible for Legally Blonde. I don't know. I like Isla because I know that Isla means like island or something, right? And like potentially independent or whatever. So maybe while she's like a comedy romance girl, she's also very like independent, strong woman, which is why, Legally Blonde, right? I mean, if they're picking their new names, they have to be relevant to their personalities. I know that somebody can be named, I don't know, Genevieve and be like the most hardcore, butch woman you've ever met who's like really into chopping wood and farm animals, right? And that's not necessarily a thing. But if you're responsible for choosing your name, it kind of is, right? It's like, do they choose their own names? Do you think that like old beings, old gods, old whatever, as they like move forward in the world, through time, if they change their names, do they pick them themselves or do they just get renamed by like the cosmos or people being like, oh, this is now Joe? I don't know. They pick their own names. They're muses. Come on now. Okay, so besides Legally Blonde, what is she responsible for? Let's see. Ooh, maybe she worked with Kay and like she brought her, maybe they were like rooming together for a couple of decades or something, or maybe they got lonely. I don't know. But they were hanging out and maybe like together, instead of, strictly horror, Kay started, inspiring some tragedy, right? So maybe like living together, they inspired Brokeback Mountain and like The Notebook. That could be fun. Maybe if like the sisters live together and they create different combinations, which creates like new genre of movie. What is your favorite genre of muse? Like, I think there could be some very cool combinations, and they've got to have other sisters. It can't just be the three of them, right? Like, there are 9. Is that what we determined? There are 9 of them. There could be more. We write our own lore here, remember? I think that there's a lot of possibility here. Ooh, corny romance. Okay, 2 of my favorites. I love Crybaby, and I love Earth Girls Are Easy. So I know, but also so corny, so wonderful. They're definitely movies that, like, when I'm not feeling well, I watch those kinds of movies because they make my heart happy. I think maybe she inspired John Waters. Maybe she hung out with him for a bit and she's like, "You know what? This guy's really cool and I like what he does. So we're going to roll with it." And so, you know, that's how Crybaby happened, right? Also, Jeff Goldblum. Earth Girls Are Easy is one of those top ridiculous movies. What are your favorite ridiculous off the cuff movies? Like, what are the movies and shows and books that you absolutely love that nobody talks about for lots of reasons? Whether they're problematic, whether they're just obscure and weird. Like, I want to know what your movie and book and show recommendations are. I'm more of a reader than a watcher. I tend to rewatch a lot of the things that I watched when I was a kid. It's a comfort thing. I have a lot of anxiety. That's where my love of horror and true crime comes from, according to the internet. But yeah, I would love some recommendations. I love cornball stuff. I just do. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I hope you liked our little painting process and story. What are the names that we came up with again? We chose Kay and Sloan and Isla. So Kay, Sloan, and Isla are the sisters that we've come up with today, and their combo is horror, cornball romance, and action movies, corny action movies. Those are my favorites. That's why they like corny stuff, okay? Just deal with it. Anyway, I hope you had fun watching and listening to the story. I hope to see you guys here again. And if you like the video, please like. If you like my content overall, please subscribe. I would love to see you here again. Have a great day, guys, and try and stay cool. It is so hot.